see you coming up. Hi everybody. How are you all doing today? Hope you've all had a lovely evening. Oh, I've got to turn sound off so I can hear myself now. There we go. Done. Right. Cool. So hope you've all been all right. It's been quite an eventful afternoon for us. You could probably guess. We probably ought to talk about that first. DCs have been going on. You already know about that. Still can hear myself. Yeah, so there's been disconnects going on. There's been some intermittent problems with the servers. We put a fix in today to hopefully make it a bit easier for you. There's a lot of work going on dealing with the server outages at the moment. The whole sysadmin team are on it and working on it. The fix we put in today delayed how it gave you longer to get your items back should you die, specifically God Wars, because that was where the biggest problems were occurring. It gives you 3 minutes where no one can see any items of yours dropping should you die in there, of course. Then a minute where the person who died can pick up the items, and then everybody else has free reign on the items you drop. We've also stopped the kill count wiping when you leave the area as well, so that you have ample time to get in there. Well, some time, not ample time, to get in there and get your items back. It's still a challenge for some people. We didn't want to take away the entire risk entirely, but should you DC in there, you've got a good chance of getting stuff and getting your items back, which should hopefully be a big help to you. There was a dupe that happened because of that, so that's all fixed now, sorted, and any occurrences from other bug abuse from that will be dealt with by us. But that sort of pretty much deals with those issues, I think. Any questions surrounding that you guys want to ask? Because there's only 37 people watching, but I'm sure more people have something to say soon. Would you like a nice new backdrop? I think that's quite cool.
We have these behind our desks where we normally work. We just brought them down here to the sofa.
Oh,
a poll to make the kill count update permanent.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it in a thread earlier that if they wanted it, we could.
It's not what we've been planning on, but if that were really popular, we'd be willing to consider it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know there's been a lot of people who like the idea, but see what the community feel like when the servers are all sorted out, and then we can address that issue then.
Kaz wants us to change the title of the stream.
Does she? Oh yeah, we probably ought to, yeah.
Yeah.
I can do that.
So while Matt's dealing with that, let's see what else we've got. HR Pure says they don't know what Trouble Brewing is. It's a minigame. It's based on Mostly Harmless. Once you've done the Cabin Fever quest, you can get there, and you run around setting fire to each other's distilleries and trying to make lots and lots of rum, at the end of which you can get really cool outfits, including the naval kit. And Reach had the brainwave that the naval kit, the black naval kit especially, would look really good if you were wearing the black Halloween mask with it that we've just released. So we've released a few photos of that. It's a fun mini-game, if you can find anyone to play it with.
Yeah, so we did a stream last night about it, which had the old title up there, and we had, 40 people in each team, which, is almost unheard of, and an awful lot of fun, so I had a power cut, and couldn't do anything about that, unfortunately.
He lives out in the countryside, it's terrible.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, it was good, and we had good fun. Good fun. I learned how to play it as well, because I've never played it before, and it's quite entertaining when you get into it. That's always cool. I think we'll have to look at some point in the future about getting some sort of system in place so that to sort of refresh the mini games and make them a bit more interesting for people, easier to get to, easier to find people. We'll have to do that. I think it seems quite important. A lot of you guys like mini games. We want to capitalise on that, obviously. Yeah, so that's cool. Any questions about disconnects, or have we covered all that? Sabotaging is part of the fun. Yeah, that's right. You can go break people's stills, can't you? It's a number of how many items we'll do. So we don't have that at the moment. We're looking into all that sort of stuff. It's not huge by the look of things. We'll deal with that as we find it. So it's not going to be a problem to the economy, so you can not worry about that. Jake is pro as a beast, apparently. There we go.
For what it's worth, when we came down here, Modreach was still at his desk tracking people who'd been trading unusual quantities of the duped items. And I'm hoping that he'll get to pick up the bandhammer and have some fun soon.
Cool. There we go. Any more questions coming through?
Titan asks one about whether we could restore your running energy, like rest places. Now, we're a bit hampered about the old resting system. In particular, we don't have the animations where you sat down on the floor and stood up again, and it would be rather sad if you rested without sitting down. It's been suggested we could try and work around that by taking a resting animation for something else. Like if we made a POH chair spawn out of nowhere underneath you and you plonked your behind on it. Or maybe if we took the cow milking animation, you pull a stool out from goodness knows where and squat on that. Might look a bit strange if the game's full of people doing these things, but we can but offer. The thing that really holds us back, though, is that all the commands that were created by the engine team in about 2009 for manipulating your energy restore rate and your energy drain rate, well, they were created in 2009, so at the moment we haven't got them. That rather holds back what we can do. We don't have much control over the run energy at all. We could try and write something that made your energy restore really quickly while you were sitting down, but there'd be a risk of devaluing the agility skill or devaluing the energy potions. We'd prefer not to break Old School just to get the squatting back in the game. Unless that's what you're into. So for the moment, resting would be a problem for us. Nevertheless, some of the things that came with it, like having the run energy displayed on the background of RuneScape, so that you didn't need to keep switching to see your options menu every time you want to know how much energy you've got left, we'd be very happy to have a go at things like that.
Cool, cool. I had a question here. It's a great one from Darden King of PVM. Says, Ash is the Staff of the Dead model from the Ghosts of the Ecto file.
The answer is yes, it's from Necrovirus. He's the only character in the game to have it, but unless you've got one too.
What else we got? Why do you make the eyes on the black mask yellow?
They're pumpkin coloured. It's Halloween. And they have to be something.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we could have chosen any one of a number of colours, and some people would like some people would like the others.
I think bright luminous pink would look good.
Oh dear, well, Ash dance. We haven't got enough room at the moment, I don't think. A bit done for that. What else we got coming in?
Dark Mage on the NPC contact spell. That is on the wish list. It's been there a while. Yeah, we should look at that. For the moment, if we want to add something to an interface, we frequently have to start by deleting the interface and remaking it. The reason for that is that RuneScape changed its interface format in 2006. We've got an interface editor, but it only deals with the new format interfaces, which means that if it's an old interface, like the NPC contact spell is, we've first got to turn it into a new format interface before we can add things to it. That adds a fair few hours of work to every interface job we do. I'm totally up for it, and I do enjoy interface work. It's a hobby. But for the moment, no, the Dark Mage hasn't got to the top of the wish list, but it's not been forgotten.
Cool. Do PvP worlds really come in 1 week? That's a question by I'm No to Chicken. I'm not a chicken. There we go. Yeah, should be with us next week, all being well. Yeah, all being well, should be with us next week.
So far, we've got the attack option available on players across the world, and we've got you able to use the attack option to do combat. And I've written the extra anti-PJing feature that you voted for in the recent poll. 76% of you, I think, supported that, so you will get it. Apart from that, I was working on a little overlay to sit in the top corner of the screen, showing a little skull to indicate it's a PvP world, and looking to see whether I could find a way of making it update to show what combat levels of people you can attack and be attacked by. Still working on that bit, but there isn't very much else to be done once this is finished.
Cool. They want to know if you're going to see them on Reddit, or you're going to talk to them on Reddit. Then we've got to set up an AMA, haven't we, really, at some point? And we'll sit down and sort that out. Might be an idea. What do you guys want? Do you want an AMA on Reddit, or an AMAA? Up to you. No, the guys have offered it, but we're so busy of late with all these updates that are coming out. An AMA isn't Ask Me Anything. It is it's sort of a special thing, very specific to Reddit, where you go on there, people ask questions, we answer everything, pretty much like this, but on Reddit, really. Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, we could do that if you want us to. That's not a great problem.
A couple of questions gone past about brawlers, including one from Enoch134. When we first proposed to give you PvP worlds, one of the things we suggested could be on those PvP worlds would be brawler gloves. Now, that didn't go down too well. There was a lot of people concerned that if we start having XP multipliers, this game will become like RS3, and if that's not what you're into, then I guess that's fair play. So for the moment we took brawlers completely off the pole altogether and didn't even offer them. We've still got the idea bouncing around if that becomes popular, but for the moment we've left it out on purpose.
A few people asking about Revenants as well, whether they're coming to PvP worlds.
You like Revenants? Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. I remember them being the most cussed thing when they came out at the end of 2007. But is that maybe because you like the drops from the Revenants, or because you like having really, really hard ghosts that keep eating and curing their poison and kiting back and forth? I suspect it might be the drops. And quite a lot of the things dropped by those Revenants we haven't got, and it would be a bit controversial to add them just to get the Revenants in the game.
Charger Matt asks again about the disconnect. I think we're going to get this a fair bit. We covered it right at the very beginning. Basically what's happening with the disconnects are we are working on them. The sysadmin team are all sorting that out and getting the solutions together for that. We put in an update today to make things easier for you should you be disconnected in dangerous areas, so it's a bit easier to get your items back. So it's not so critical should you be disconnected and killed by Bandos, for example. Have a look through the news post on the website because it's all on there, all the details behind it. I've got a funny feeling I'll be saying that about 10 times during this. There we go.
There was a question from S. Johnson about why we don't have the EP mechanic on our PvP worlds. So, EP, or earning potential, was the points you accrued while you were sitting on a PvP world back in the old days when they existed, if you were holding enough wealth in your inventory. You could sit there in a quiet area, letting it tick up until you'd apparently got enough earning potential. Then you go kill people, and hopefully you get valuable loot. It's not very good gameplay, it's not something we really want to see again, and apart from that, we don't have a Grand Exchange server tracking all the item prices, so it would be quite difficult to even guess how much loot you were carrying. So for a variety of reasons, we're not offering EP at this time.
Yeah, I did promise, I was talking about it earlier this week, to bring in some placards with answers to the questions we always get asked. I haven't got around to making these placards yet, but I'm going to try my hardest for next week to get these placards together. So when people say, what about HD graphics? I can go, put up this placard that says, we can't do HD graphics because it would take way too long to do. We haven't got the ability, the tools, or the graphics to do it. So I'm going to have to do that for next week. So I have a series of placards at free to play and whatever else.
You've got your picture of Bob the Cat instead.
Yes, yeah, much more impressive. Much more impressive. There we go. Bounty Worlds. Bounty Hunter. Now, Dan, who's not with us today, unfortunately, talks an awful lot about Bounty Hunter. He thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. And it is a great fun minigame, something we do want to reuse and do something about. I don't know quite what yet, but we want to do a Bounty Hunter type thing going on somehow, but the details of that are all to be decided. Probably won't be looking at until next year anyway, so we've got plenty of time to have a chat about that.
Quite a few people have asked me about Bounty Worlds in terms of could we build it into PvP worlds. Now the thing about a PvP world is it's a pretty big place. If you had to go and hunt down your targets, and they might be in the known village general store, or they might be in the deep end of the wilderness, or they might be in pyramid plunder, you might find it a bit frustrating trying to find them. Now we'd do our best, of course, to write some kind of hint system if we could, but there'd still be a lot of very, very open space where we wouldn't be able to give you useful pointers. It might be for the best if we didn't try and build Bounty Hunter into the PvP worlds, and instead save it as for a minigame in its own right, where we could create you a big arena for it, maybe like it had in 2008 with big craters, although I promise we would not put the craters right across the middle of the wilderness. We don't think you'd like that very much. We'd put them somewhere else.
Cool. We've got another one here. Since you guys aren't adding summoning or turmoil, would you add flasks? I suppose it's something we can do, isn't it?
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So I mean, all this stuff, most of it is completely doable. It's the biggest issue we have with the three of us working on it on Old School. We have to really sort of focus on what's important to you guys, because we've got to prioritise practically everything that we do. Unfortunately, this means we could do 100 updates a week that you guys want, but we just are unable to do it because there's the three of us doing it. So you've got to decide amongst yourselves what's important for us, and we'll happily do what you think is the most important thing. Put it through a poll and get you guys to vote on it. So we can do all this stuff, or we can do most of it. We just got to prioritise what's the most important thing for you guys. I mentioned last week's stream actually that Mod Nexus has. He doesn't work directly with us anymore. He's working on some other projects, but he's a great advisor, and he still comes and helps us out when he can. So, but from your perspective, really, it's me, Dan, and Ash that are on Old School now.
Nexus still loves you all as much as ever.
Yes, he does. He told me that this morning. Yeah. What else we got? Anything interesting you can see on there, Ash?
Ooh, make the Staff of the Dead special attack work in the duel arena only if magic is on. Yes, we'll put that on the next poll.
There we go. Job done. There's one I saw here. In overtime, maybe you used to come and think 07 will keep getting updated to the point it was before EOC. It will never reach the point it was before EOC came out, purely because we haven't got the ability to do it. For example, HD, we just can't put HD in game. So we'll never get to that point, but we'll keep updating it as long as there are people who want it updated, and there are a good amount of players who play it, and that will just keep on going. So although it will never be exactly pre-EOC, which a lot of you guys asked for specifically, we will keep updating it the way you want it to go. And you've got to think of this game as your sort of baby, and you decide how you want it to grow up, and that's what it boils down to, basically.
There's a haunting image.
Yeah.
Which of us is the mummy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll answer that one. Danny's not here. Will 07 always be out? If there are people who want to play it, it will be there. If we suddenly drop to 10 people, then maybe it might get sort of shut down, maybe, or put into a corner with no support. But there are hundreds of thousands of people playing Old School at the moment, and while there are, that's not a problem. We will keep playing, keep helping, and keep enjoying it. Because we're enjoying it, aren't we? So
yep.
Don't want it to stop anytime soon. And again, actually at the moment the community is growing since God Wars has come out. It's started going back up again, which is fantastic. So really impressed with how you guys have reacted to that. So that's brilliant. Right, what else can we see?
Spawning zombies. Not sure what that's for. Staff of the Dead be polled to autocast Ancients. A question from Cheese Sid. Right. We could make the Staff of the Dead autocast Ancients, although the thing is, Ancient magics come from Zaros. The Staff of the Dead comes from a Zamorak boss in the God Wars dungeon. I don't really want to go there.
Yeah.
What we can do, and what I think we will do in the next poll, is offer to put Flames of Zamorak on it, since there aren't very many staffs that can currently do that, and it would perhaps be an extra useful feature for you. Make it a bit more powerful in magic as well.
Absolutely. Spawning zombies sounds like something Mod Crow would do. That's very true. In fact, I think he's spawning zombies as we speak.
Didn't he and I do that in 2000? No, that was Mod Raven.
Was it? Yeah. Well,
they all look the same.
Yeah, that's true.
They really do.
What else have we got? Have we ever thought of having Jag? We'd love Jag. Unfortunately, I think there's engine reasons. I mean, you've got
the engine team would have to just simply do it.
Yeah.
And along with that, they'd also have to do the route finding update we've been asking for.
Yeah.
And a few other things that we'd like. So
yes.
Their wish list, I'm afraid, doesn't go quite as fast as ours does.
Yes. Want 07 to be free to play again? I suppose we always get asked about free to play. Free to play again. There's no plans at the moment to have a free to play model of the game. That's as much as we can say. We're not in a position to offer it, so we just have to wait until we are. And should we ever be in a position to be able to offer free to play, then we will obviously need to be polled first. And if it passes the poll, we'll do it.
Question from I'm Gecko 2007. Could we add one PvP world without the protect item prayer? Now, when we ran the poll for PvP Worlds, what we offered was to disable the protect item share on both of them, and that didn't even get 50% support. I think it went down at 43% saying yes. So, nevertheless, in future I would like to offer high-risk wilderness worlds, where some of the existing worlds have the protect item prayer disabled in the wilderness, and if we did that we could also apply it to one of the PvP worlds. The thing is, at the moment, we're offering 2 PvP worlds rather than, say, 1, because we'd like there to be one if the other one goes offline for some reason. Accidents happen. So, while the worlds are there to be backup for each other, having them behave differently isn't really ideal, because then they're not backup for each other, and if one goes down you've still lost something. And while we could therefore have 2 high-risk PvP worlds and 2 normal PvP worlds, that's now 4, and I don't think you need that many PvP worlds, to be honest.
Yeah.
So for the moment, I'm afraid we're not there yet. But for a future poll, yes, I could see us doing it.
Cool. Cool. People asking about Slayer updates and things. In fact, I was recording a dev blog for this beginning of the week, which should be out next week. Which talks about the Slayer update. Basically, we're looking at polling all the ideas that you guys have had for Slayer. So, Slayer helmet, broad weapons, dungeons, monsters, spinny things, shiny stuff that does things, and other sorts of bits. And we'll go into a lot more detail about that. We want to do a nice sort of poll purely for Slayer, so it's everything Slayer and all the bits included in there, and make it a nice proper event for you, which will be pretty exciting. But so get your ideas onto the forum, and we will pick them up there and see what we can poll to you. What else?
So, will the next question from Live-E2, will the next poll offer incentives to PvP worlds such as a parcel delivery game? What we're going to do is launch the PvP worlds as you've currently requested them, and when you've had a little time to get used to them, then we'll start polling things to go on them. I'm glad you like the idea of the parcel delivery game. I was hoping that...
I came up with that idea.
Well, it might be almost a replacement for the Wilderness tag, which we haven't got.
Yeah.
So yeah, perhaps in future.
Yeah, that's cool. What's somebody saying? Have we got any stats on PKing? Unfortunately, we don't. We can see sort of how many people go into different worlds at different times, but we don't have anything sort of concrete to talk about PvP other than sort of the sort of stuff we get from how popular it is to talk about on the forums and that sort of thing. So yeah, I don't have the stats, unfortunately. I can't say, we can't say, 60,000 people PvP'd in the last 3 days. Unfortunately. I'd love to have that number, but we don't. What else we got?
Auto-killing blow for things such as desert lizards, rock slugs and gargoyles. A question from Chickens. I always talk to Chickens. Yes, I think if we did an expansion of Slayer rewards, we would totally have that on there.
Somebody asked about player designed content. The date for it shuts tonight, I think it is. It'll be a dev blog tomorrow. A vote will open tomorrow as well, which you can vote in over the weekend with the best ideas in there. The response we've had is absolutely huge. We've had over 100 different ideas come in. That's an awful lot more than we expected. It's not just 100 small ideas or one sentences. It's huge proper documents with pictures and drawings and all sorts. It's been fantastic. And so we're going to put a devlog about that tomorrow with sort of the top 5 we've come up with that you guys can vote on. There's a huge amount of ideas. I mean, there's a lot of ideas which are really massively big. So things for new skills, huge new areas of content, opening up the Eastern Lands, all sorts of stuff which are a bit big to deliver within this competition. But we can pull lots of ideas from those as well. So even if you don't get into this final 5, there's a whole load of ideas which we will be able to put in game as well. So you might not get voted in as the one, but if you've got good ideas, we're going to steal them from you because they're good ideas. It's your game, so it'll be silly not to.
Arctic Pike asks whether we'll be at RuneFest. The answer is yes, we will be at RuneFest, and we'd love to see as many of you there as possible.
Yes. In fact, we're in the RuneFest planning room right now with
Waving
the
at
RuneFest
SJ.
planners who are waving at you.
Hello!
As you can see. So yeah, we'll be there, and it's going to be great.
Bizarre asks what is most likely to be the next update. That would be PvP Worlds, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Next Thursday, lunchtime. Yay! Somebody asked a question, I'll see if I can catch it. It was, what exactly is stopping us getting the new graphics? And that's a good question for you.
The new graphics as in the HD ones?
As in new graphics in general, I think.
So, in 2008, RuneScape had a massive graphical rework. The entire game engine was rewritten to use your graphics cards for the first time ever, which was really annoying to me because my computer hadn't got one because I wanted a cheap computer and I knew I only played RuneScape, so why would I need to buy a graphics card? That was, however, a very large job. We had, I think, 4 guys from the engine team working on it for weeks and weeks and weeks. We got the entire graphics team remodelling every model in the game with textures. In fact, I think they outsourced some of that to agencies because there was so much to do. We had almost all the content developers reviewing all the existing interfaces, and there's nearly 1,000, to see whether they'd work if they were made resizable and expanded. And we had the entire QA team playing through as much of the game as they could. And even then, we ended up going live with quests being uncompletable and bugs where you could walk through the scenery, and bugs where I think there was wilderness property painted down in Tavali Dungeon. That was it, yes. If you walked through Tavali Dungeon, part of it was wilderness. There was a bug in the map editor. So that isn't really the kind of thing we can undertake in a million years, not the 3 of us. I'm sorry, it would be for the best if you assumed we were not going to ever get that kind of graphics update.
Mm.
In terms of simple new graphics, like the new Halloween mask that you got today, what we did there was we took an existing graphic, the old Halloween mask, and we just changed a couple of lines of code to change its colour. So the bit that was normally green turned into black, and the bit that was normally black turned into pumpkin, and thus you get a glowing orange eyes on your Halloween mask. We can do that kind of thing, and we've worked out pretty much how to do it reliably for whatever we need. To make new models, though, if we wanted to change the shape of anything, like some of you said the eyes were a bit big, if we wanted to remodel it to make the eyes smaller, that would involve us using the 3D model editor to try and edit the model. Now, with the best will in the world, Modreach, ModMattK, me, we're not trained 3D modelers, and we're not going to pick up that kind of skill set anytime soon. I mean, we try, but it wouldn't look like the kind of quality you ought to expect.
Mm.
So what we're doing at the moment is seeing what colleagues we can borrow for a few spare minutes here and there. Maybe we can get something out of them, maybe we can't. I know Modreach and Modchris L have been collaborating to try and make themselves a nice little Slayer helmet based on a design that Matt doodled for fun. Yeah,
based loosely.
Yeah, it's how you make a concept artist. Yeah. But for the moment, no, we can't get new models on demand. That's a bit of a holdback because a lot of people have said, why don't you finish the Elf quest off in Old School? Well, that would be funny, especially as RS3 hasn't done it. But if we did try to do it, you might expect there to be an Elf City at the end of it.
Mm.
And an Elf City ought to be made of crystal, otherwise what's the point? And we haven't got one of those.
Cool. People DCing again, so I think it's a good time to talk about disconnections again for the 3rd time.
Well, it's been 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So Disconnection, the sysadmin team are working on them. They are doing their best to resolve these issues for you and get them fixed. So there's a whole team working on that. We've put an update into game today, which makes it easier for you to get your items back should you die, specifically in the God Wars dungeon. We've so have a read of the website and the update we posted up today, which has details of that in. But we've done that specifically to combat disconnects that you guys are suffering, make it a bit easier for you so you don't lose quite so much. No, it's frustrating. We're frustrated with it too. But the guys are on it, and we'll get that fixed as soon as we possibly can, so it stops happening. Like I say, just be patient, and every time you shout and scream, we shout and scream too, and it's it upsets us as much as you guys as well. So there we go.
Question from Cheesehead about why we can't release the animation and model editing tools to the community. Now that would be cool, because we know for a fact that some of you are quite good at 3D modelling. Mr. Crow and his White Dragon kit, for example, kept sending me it on Twitter. We'd love to, difficulty is, Jagex's tools were written mostly by Andrew Gower, with the expectation they would be used in the Jagex office, on Jagex computers, with a Jagex network all around them. Which means that all the time they're referring to network drives where they can get critical resources and expecting to find, RuneScape's pack dump in a certain place and expecting to find the file repository in another certain place. So if we just sent you the tool as it is, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't load. It might be possible to have somebody rewrite the tool to contain everything it needs, all the resources. It's not entirely straightforward, since a lot of those resources are part of RuneScape's live game, and we can't send you all that all the time and keep updating it. You'd be downloading forever. But it would be nice if they could make a version of the tool that stands alone and lets you create new models for us. Unfortunately, the kind of people who have to do it are like the engine team, those guys. The ones where we'd really, really love it if they could do the route finding update for us that we've been waiting for quite a while now. And I'm afraid until we've got some of those critical jobs out of them, I don't want to go bothering them to do yet more stuff that's less urgent. So for the moment, that's not on the cards.
Cool. Item switching. There you go, it's another one for you.
Yes. And that also is one for the engine guys. We've sat down with them before and gone looking for it. Unfortunately, we have not managed to ascertain what's going on there. And until we can get a bit more time from them, I'm afraid we haven't anything more to report. But we know it's an issue, and we really would like to solve it because we'd like to run a hybrid income apart from anything else. I think that was one of Matt's plans. And at the moment, we're stymied because you can't hybrid as effectively as you'd like to.
Exactly. But we'll get there, and it'll get fixed, and then we can move on from that. Which is cool. I saw somebody saw us wearing orange. Is this orange or is this red? It looks red, to me. Yeah, it must be the camera. I'm not wearing orange. This is not EasyJet colour. It is scarlet.
It's funny, it does look orange on that.
It does, yeah. Anyway, what else we got here? We've got free to play. PvP was next week, that's right.
Can we boost the amount of dark beasts you get for a task? If we're doing a big Slayer update, I can imagine you might want that on the list of things you get from it.
Yeah, absolutely. What else we got? Got the ability to run energy. We covered that one, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Unfortunately, we do not have the commands to make that change. So at the moment, it's just built into the game engine to always go at a certain rate. The commands that edit that were created in about 2009, and we just haven't got them.
Okay, somebody, I didn't read all of it, but somebody is saying he's followed our instructions to update the client so that the client works for Old School. Best people to talk to is to head to our bug forums. We'll send an email into, I can't know what the address is, I'm sure it's in there, but the bug support people, and they'll guide you through it. They're the people who actually designed that and worked out how it all happened and what have you. So send them an email. It'll be in the bug support forums, and they will help you out there. Or tech forums, I think it might be called. But yeah, they will help you out, get that sorted. Someone's colourblind, they can't tell the difference between NPCs and friends on the mini-map.
That's interesting. Friends are green, NPCs are yellow. We can change the colours. If it's not hard-coded, so we could change that if we had something in mind to change it to.
First time I've heard that one, though.
Yeah.
So we normally get sort of a few queries from people who are colourblind that have difficulty between greens and blues, aren't they, normally?
Greens and reds is a common one.
There's a greens and reds. And so we get that a fair bit, so we sort of design content around that, but I've not heard of them having a problem with that colour before. Is it possible to add Curadel and Curadel's dungeon in the Slayer update and the points? We can certainly do things like that. I mean, whether it will be exactly the same what you expect is another question entirely, but we can certainly get those sort of mechanics going in. A new dungeon with some monsters and a point system. I think that's pretty much a given, really. We've got to offer that, really.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
YSE Tube has a question about changing the F key settings. We did poll that a long time ago, and it didn't pass, so we left it alone. Now, since then, we've acquired more dev tools than we had before, and it might be possible for us to give you a menu where you could just assign different F keys to different side stones yourselves and set it up however you wanted it to, which would mean that people who wanted the old version can keep it as it is. People who want to make it more like RuneScape from 2012, 2011 would be able to do that. It would be quite a bit of work, so it may not make it onto the next poll, but I think we could make that editable for you.
Cool. Some chappie was asking about locking their skills for XP, so you could lock a skill. I mean, I'm sure it probably can be done, but whether the community will want you to be able to do it. So that effectively allows pures to not gain XP accidentally, and we've always found that anything for a pure, whether it's a PvP pure or a skill in pure, the community aren't overly enthusiastic about making it done.
Well, if it meant that pures could go fight in defensive mode and not gain XP, then that's something pures would be able to do that they currently can't. And that kind of thing hasn't gone down too well in the polls before.
So doable, but you know, I don't think it'll get through a poll somehow. I mean, the poll for getting pures onto a pattol without the XP was voted down as well.
It didn't even get near 75% to my recollection.
It's way off, isn't it?
Zomor07 has a question about whether we could make your opponent be on top of everyone else in a PvP pile. That would be amazing, really amazing, and we'd like the same for monsters. Unfortunately, that kind of behaviour is built into the game engine. They've never exposed the functionality for us to control it, so I'm afraid we can't offer that at this time. I'm not sure even RS3 can do that.
What else we got? Somebody claiming that everybody was leaving Old School. Unfortunately, that's not happening at the moment. We had loads of people come back for God Wars, and it's looking really quite healthy. Old School is so yeah, we're really pleased about that. Could we release the same world map thingy as you had in 2007? Yes, I want a world map.
That would be nice. At the moment, the world map we've got seems to be a picture that was downloaded off the website in July 2007, and we should update that for Nightmare Zone, really, which would be a job for digging out MS Paint, I think.
Yeah, let's do that.
Unfortunately, getting the applet out again that we had before 2008, the engine team doesn't seem to have done that, although I bet it's in the archive, and if time permitted, we could maybe ask them to go hunt it for us.
Yeah.
Updating it, as I recall, was quite challenging in those days. The update process, when we wanted to update the world map, took blinking ages, but it could be done, so hopefully it could be done again.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. We could have a world map.
I'm RobotZ99 wants to know if Dragon Claws will be in Old School RuneScape. I think if I did that, Mod Reach would kill me. Yeah.
I think you probably would.
Yeah.
It'd be entertaining for me to watch, but
we could stream it.
Yeah, we could. Yes. Yeah, I don't think they will ever pass a poll either. So yeah, there we go. What else we got coming in? RuneScape will die if the servers aren't fixed. Well, like I said before, servers are being worked on by the system admin team, and we put a fix in today, or an update in today, to make it a bit safer for you when you do disconnect. So have a read of the website, and tells you more about that update there.
Seen a few questions going by about the Slayer mask again. I think we've covered that before in this stream, but for those who've tuned in more recently, we don't have the graphic of the Slayer mask as it was first released, and we can't just dig up the graphic from RS3 and import it into our repository, because the formats are completely different. And even if the format could be converted, the human layout has changed. Humans in RS3 are not the same shape as humans in Old School RuneScape, and that caused quite a few complaints when it changed, as I recall. So I'm afraid their bodies are just the wrong shape for us to use the models. Nevertheless, ever since we got the model editor resurrected for us by Mod Jack Mob, very kindly, Mod Reach and his friends have been playing about with it. I had to go myself, actually. Took the model of a spiny helmet, and the model of earmuffs, and the model of a nose peg, and the model of a face mask, and tried mashing them all together to see if I got something that looked at least vaguely like a Slayer helmet. It did look, well, you got the idea, although a lot of the feedback on Twitter was, where's the black mask bit? Truth is, it overlaps all manner of things. It got kind of awkward once we installed one of those in it. So I'm leaving it to Mod Reach and his friends. Mod Chris L's been giving him a hand. With any luck, they might be able to make us a Slayer helmet. But this is the kind of thing where we try to get people to do us a favour in a few spare minutes. It's not like having a dedicated artist on tap.
Yes.
And graphics has always been the slow bit of big graphical projects.
Cool. Someone is asking, I think it was Eero, was asking if we could do a loyalty store. So the longer you've played, you get stuff. I'm sure we probably can, but would you guys want to see a loyalty store?
Why don't we just do the Square Fortune or something?
Whoa, swear words. Beep. But a loyalty store, I suppose, you know, if it measures your game time, the amount of time you've played in game, the longer you play, you get a few points that you can spend on stuff. You know.
Well, we could create something that just counts up points while you AFK or bank stand or stick a pen, yeah, or stick a coin in your keyboard and go round and round and round and round, spinning the camera until you've got enough to earn rewards. But it doesn't sound like a very old school idea to me.
Yeah, I don't think, Eero, that you're going to get much support for that one somehow.
Speaking of ideas that seemed a bit controversial at the time, somebody contacted me the other day asking if we could have a safe wilderness world, or in fact several safe wilderness worlds, where the wilderness was a safe place where you couldn't PK. The idea being that that way players would walk around exploring the wilderness and using the features without all those pesky PKers getting in the way, and the PKers could go and fight with other PKers on the worlds that were set aside for them to do so. Now, I thought that wasn't going to be a very popular idea, but I promised I'd put it to the community. When I put it on the forums, it didn't go down very well, and I'm assuming it wouldn't go down very well with you guys either.
How many PKs we've got in here, I suppose. The wilderness is safe. Yes, the wilderness is pretty safe. That's true. If you know what you're doing, you're not going to die in there. I remember I used to go do clues. I used to do my clue scrolls, and I used to take with me my spade and my chart and my watch and the sextant. I'd go up there, and if I was going to get attacked, I'd drop one item on the floor and just wait for them to kill me so they never got anything. I'd respawn with all the stuff that I needed. That used to be quite entertaining. I managed to collect lots and lots of spades. Yes, please fix switching. Yes, that's with the engine team. What else? What else? What else? Please shorten your comments. Don't know what that means.
Sorry, am I talking too much?
And he talks far too much. It's fine. Get used to it. What happened to the high score wars? Yeah, somebody posted about that yesterday.
Yeah, all I know is what I've seen on the forums, really, where people said that they came back onto the high scores after they logged out and in again. Don't know what happened there.
Who knows? Who knows? Can you shut down RS? No.
Ooh, make entering the bank pin as fast as RS3. Well, I'm glad you like that update. I worked quite hard on that for RS3. Truth is, interfaces in 2007's game engine didn't have all the features that they got in the other RuneScape. I think if I tried to do that for us, it would be a bit limited. Off the top of my head, I think every button you pressed on the keypad, rather than having something useful as the mouse over text, it would say continue, because the ability to change that was not added to the engine until about 2011. Go figure. You might be willing to put up with that in exchange for being able to enter your pin faster, but it did take me quite a lot of work at the time, like 2 days, maybe a bit more, and I didn't quite get it right first shot either, so there were a few bugs. I'd probably do better this time, but it's something I'd be willing to experiment with, but I can't promise off the top of my head whether it's possible.
What else? What else? You saw one.
Saw one question a bit back about whether there'd be any new quests for Old School RuneScape. Now, in the player design content, Matt got any number of quest ideas sent in to him, and some of them were quite funny, some of them were quite alarming. We like the idea of a new quest, totally up for it. They do take a while to write, but if you want it, then we'd be up for it. But nothing's stood out so far. We'll see whether that's what you vote for in the player design content poll anyway. What else have we got?
Ooh, what's that? A bit of text going up the screen.
Okay.
I don't know what that was. I've got to slow down a bit, we can't read them, you're going too quickly.
Apparently I have a spider on my head.
Yeah, that's there.
Oh, live.
Wherever that is. No, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Over there somewhere. How do you plan on expanding the audience for RS in general? We can go into a bit of detail about the old school stuff. We have a few things coming out that we will probably talk to you a bit more about next week. But we've got some advertising stuff that's going to be launching specifically over the RuneFest period and beyond. From that, we do have regular advertising that goes out, performance advertising it's called, performance marketing, sorry. It's been going out now since about July, I think is when we kicked off again. July the 14th, what happened then? That was our RuneScape 3, wasn't it?
Something of the sort.
Yeah, so I think it's about a week after RuneScape 3, we did some, we started off some performance advertising. That's done really, really well. It's got a huge amount of players in games, so we'll continue doing that. We're also talking to an awful lot of the players, an awful lot of the streamers, an awful lot of the YouTube people to get them to make sure their audience are seeing about RuneScape, old school. Yeah, so we are pushing old school out there as much as we can, and we're getting an awful lot of success from doing that. So, because as I said earlier, the members at the moment are rising, which is fantastic to see, and God Wars has been a big part of that because you guys love it.
Saw a question from Dinosaur Bear asking, I think that's how it's pronounced, asking whether we could have the Clan Wars free-for-all arenas with the red and white portals. Now, I'm not particularly keen on doing the red portal because at the moment we have a wilderness that works a lot like that. Taking people out of it to put them in a small arena doesn't sound like a massive improvement, so I don't think the red portal would happen. But it would be very easy for us to create the white portal free-for-all arena, and we'd be happy to offer that, especially if we were doing Clan Wars. And I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up polling something like that next year. We've talked about Clan Wars before. Wrote a blog about how it could work using the limitations of the 2007 engine. Seriously, the whole team thing, it didn't turn up until much later in 2007. It's very frustrating. But Clan Wars came third in that survey at the time, underneath God Wars Dungeon and PvP Worlds. So we promised we'd poll those two first. We haven't forgotten about Clan Wars though, and if it remains popular, we'd be happy to poll it in future.
Yeah. Somebody asked for Shooting Stars and Evil Trees.
Well, a bit stumped for the graphics of Shooting Stars, but the Evil Tree we might be in luck because it looks suspiciously like the thing from Halloween 2006 we saw today. So I wouldn't be surprised if we could get an Evil Tree out of that.
Yeah, there we go.
And a Shooting Star that looks like a big boulder might be possible.
Yeah, sure we've got boulders somewhere.
Oh, we got boulders.
Yeah.
Got any number of boulders.
Make them shine or something. Glow. That is cool. Yeah, there's a lot of the same questions coming through, so I'll just run over a couple of these things and then I think we will call it a day. First of all, disconnects. We have the sysadmin team are working on the disconnection problems. We put an update out today, so it's easier for you to retain your items in God Wars and elsewhere if you die. So that should make things a bit easier. Have a look at the website, and there's more details there for you. Free to play. There's no plans on free to play at the moment. And PvP Worlds should be with us next week. So that's it. Well, thank you all for coming. We'll see you next week, which will be just before or just after PvP Worlds has come out, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we won't be busy dealing with maintenance on them.
Yes.
But I'm sure Matt will come down and talk to you anyway.
I'll come down and chat and stuff, because that's what I do. Right, guys, thanks very much. See you all later, and have a lovely evening.